a lot of water needs a lot of sensitivity and care and compassion because you can't function like a typical person. Sometimes you can compare yourself to people who can just get on with things. Not that you're not able to achieve and do, but sometimes you need that extra level of comfort and care beyond what other people may be giving themselves or needing. And then there can be this, well, why can they cope with that and I can't? That can come into play as well. So I really want to dive into this with some tapping to support you in feeling safe with that resting piece and trusting yourself and the universe to hold you. Hello and welcome to Fully Seen, the podcast where we don't fuck about small talk, we dive straight into the deep end. I'm Danielle, your favorite psychic healer and host. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into these episodes. Hello and welcome back to the Fully Seen podcast. Today I'm excited to share my beautiful guest with you, Bryony. We have connected before on an Instagram live healing and she's agreed to come back for another session with me today. So I'm really just curious to know, is there anything at the moment that you're experiencing or that is fresh for you to receive support with?
Yeah, beautiful. Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited for our session together today to see what comes through. And yeah, in terms of things that are present for me right now, I can feel like as I'm speaking, all of a sudden like my body got like tense. We're gonna share. Yeah, I think that I'm in this space of coming off of like a really intense few years, and the image or the metaphor I have in my mind is a bit like being in a ship that's been sailing through really heavy seas. And I've been staying afloat, and at times I've been like, woohoo, let's do this. And other times I've been like, I'm just clinging on for dear life. And I feel like I'm finally heading into calmer waters. And I say this with a little bit of a thank you, universe. Please let the calmer waters continue. And yeah, so what I've been noticing in the last week is that I'm pretty good these days at having let myself slow down a lot in life in general. And I'm also pretty good at listening to what I need and taking good care of my body's basic needs. And like sleep and water and taking my body for a walk, all that good stuff. But there is a bit of hesitation or uncertainty around this space of a bit like coming to the end of an exhale. And there's a pause before the inhale. And there's a deeper, wiser part of me that's like, babe, do not fill this time. Do not start getting busy. Like, no, just hold on a sec, just wait. There's plenty of little things I have going on. So it's not like being self-employed, there's like a giant void of nothing. There's things happening, but I can feel there's deeper wisdom to just wait, just slow down, let the spaciousness be here. And then I think my system and other parts of me are used to like, okay, let's keep going. And to just today, for example, I felt quite cold. In fact, I've got a hot water bottle.
Oh, cute.
Got a hot water bottle with me. And I felt quite cold. Now, we live in the UK. It's May. Sorry, it's not even May. It's June. And it's fucking 12 degrees. So I can be forgiven for having my hot water bottle. But part of me is like, should I go for a bike ride? Because I can just get my energy pumped up, especially ahead of our conversation. But I was like, actually, you know what? I think I just need a hot water bottle and a bit of a lie down. I guess what I'm getting at is I'm trying to balance this honoring and listening to what I need whilst also not. Yeah, there's still there's still like maybe a bit of a lack of trust there. I'm not feeling fully like it's okay to fully slow down. There's definitely like even feel in my body. There's a sense of like, oh, is that okay? Am I allowed to do that? A sense of is that safe?
Wow. I love how you've shared all of that. I love how open you've been, despite that initial tense feeling that came up in your chest. It felt like it was there when you said it to start sharing. And there's so much to unpack there. I love that you've started the process of slowing down. What I'm hearing is you're still kind of, even when you mention the hot water bottle, it's like, I can be forgiven for having this. Like, what? Why do you need to be forgiven for having a hot water bottle? For giving yourself the comfort that your body is asking for. So that was an interesting insight. And it might have just been a word that you used, but I don't think anything is coincidence. Because then you went on to say, like, can I trust myself to rest, to give myself what I need? It's not always that go, go, go mode. And I love that you are connected with that deeper part of you that is saying, wait, you've had a
Mm,
really busy, heavy, you said heavy seas, and there's
mm,
so much water in your astrology chart. I've looked. A lot of water needs a lot of sensitivity and care and compassion because you can't function like a typical person. Sometimes you can compare yourself to people who can just get on with things. Not that you're not able to achieve and do, but sometimes you need that extra level of comfort and care beyond what other people may be giving themselves or needing. And then there can be this, well, why can they cope with that and I can't? That can
mm,
come into play as well. So I really want to dive into this with some tapping to really support you in
mm,
feeling safe with that
mhm.
resting piece and
Yeah.
trusting yourself and the universe to hold you.
Mm,
How does that feel
yeah.
as I've shared my initial thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you and catching the toe of. I also agree. Language is really powerful, isn't it? And reveals a lot. And I think that the sort of I could be forgiven for having a hot water bottle. I think there's still societal conditioning there around the need to work hard, and I've got this internalized. I'm quite familiar with it, like an internal voice that goes, if you're not doing something, then what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Right. So this sense of feeling that, oh God, yeah, I need to quick do something, need to be doing. And yeah, it can be very subtle, those like layers of internalized judgment, and the ways in which that shows up for me is constriction in my body, like a tightness, like, is it okay to do that? And I also appreciate, as you were saying about, having a lot of water in my astrology chart, I could feel like a little bit of a softening, like, is it okay? It is okay. Like, I am very emotional and I do need those things. So I feel like it's always, this is why having other types of knowledge or different ways of understanding ourselves can be so powerful, because it can really help normalize things. And as you said, like, notice where we slip into comparison and try to sort of push ourselves to be something other than we are.
Yeah. And like, it's that permission to soften. And there's something about seeing and knowing your astrology chart that just allows you to rest in who you really
Mm,
are and not operate from either stories and standards that have been inherited. And then there's
mm,
our own standards, which are actually stamped in the astrology chart. So you do have, I'll give it to you straight because I think you could take it straight. Your astrology chart is not easy. Okay. And so like I look at a lot of these things and it makes me feel better about my own sometimes. And I'm not saying that to like scare you or worry you because it's perfect for you. Your soul
mm.
chose that setup, that particular
Ugh,
configuration. Exactly.
it
Exactly. And that's
shows like,
welcome.
yeah,
That is so welcome. Sometimes I'm like, can I do it again, please?
yeah.
But in your chart, you have like one aspect that is particularly hard and very disciplined and very work focused and shoulding and doing very
Mm,
strongly. You have that loud, and that's always going to dominate, is always going to dominate and win unless you give yourself permission to be the juicy, watery lusciousness that you really are. Because there's so much water in your chart to put that
mm,
out and put that in
mm,
its place. But you're going to have to be consciously working at that rather than the work piece. I think you've mastered that. It's the can I be slow? Can I be soft? Can I just
mm,
honor my sensitivity? Because you are so beautifully emotional and deep and
mm,
intuitive.
mm.
So you, like you said, you know when you need to rest.
Yeah,
And you just need to
yeah.
turn that down the dial on that voice that's going, yeah, but, because it's really, yeah, it can be societal pressures, but eventually you have to say, is that working for me? Does that work for me? And just do it your way. I've had to let go of everything like that just to come back into I can't operate like that. I can't function in the way that most people can. And that's okay. But it's really an
Mm,
unpacking and a permission slips daily to go, okay, what feels so good for me now? And the more you
mm,
do drop into that is yin, that yin mode, the more you're saying, I trust, I surrender, I can receive. And the less you
mm.
actually need to do.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I really feel that. And there was a point you shared there about how most people are or how like normal people might function. And this is just a reflection. So I don't know what's true. Something that I've observed over the years, and I'd be curious about how you feel on your journey as well, is the more that I have like made friends with my body, started to go on that journey of navigating from living in my head to like really being with my body, I realize actually how sensitive my body is in terms of just like an animal, right? I love animals. So when I compare us to animals, for me, that's always from a place of very high regard and respect.
Hmm.
And animals are incredible in terms of their sensory experiences, how they can pick up on things before we do, and how attuned they are to the natural world. And I feel like the more that I've come into my body, I realize how sensitive this body is. And I'm still waking up to that. And then because of that, it almost felt like a bit of a regression on some levels because I used to be able to cope, with certain situations or
Mm-hmm.
environments. But I've wondered over the years, how is that only possible? Because I just checked out and disconnected. Because actually, bless us, this world that so many of us live in is fucking stimulating. There's just so much coming at us that actually, in order to just get by, we have to live from the neck up because it's just too much. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts
Oh,
on that
yeah.
and what you've
Well, I got
observed in
thoughts.
your, yeah, with your body?
I love that. I love this. With sensitivity, what I have found personally is the more you slow down and listen and live from that intuitive space, that kind of emotional place, the less your body will put up with because you're actually listening. So it can say no quicker. And so your tolerance goes down. So the things that I used to do to my body, drinking loads and not sleeping well and eating crap food, my body, I couldn't do that for a day without feeling like death now. I just couldn't because I've stripped back so many layers of that kind of overriding that we do because we don't know any better at that point in our lives. I find that as soon as you step into this place where you do honor your body like an animal, love that. I love that
Mm,
metaphor. And you care for it and you don't force an animal to do something it doesn't want to do. It just
mm,
intuitively knows how to take care of itself. And
mm,
there's no question about it. It's all the self-judgment, the kind of the shoulds that come up that really just derail the natural rhythm of our bodies. Yeah, honoring your sensitivity is such a beautiful path, but it does deepen more and more with time. Your body can get louder and louder, which is a blessing and a curse, you know?
yeah, totally. Yeah. And I know that now I'm at the place with my relationship with my body that if I don't listen, I can choose to ignore like what's coming up, but it feels more and more like a betrayal. And that can seem like a strong word, but if I kept doing that, it's like death by a thousand cuts. If I keep not listening, and eventually it's my body almost turns away from me. Just like if you were talking to someone and they kept ignoring you, eventually you'd be like, why am I even bothering? And you would just sort of turn away from them. So I've built that relationship, cultivated it over time. And I also am in this place now of it's very hard for me to say something if I don't really believe it. And that's because my body's listening to me. So if I say yes to something and actually it's a no, and I've clocked that it's a no, it's confusing for my body. It's like, but you know it's a no. Why are you saying yes? So it's in some ways it's very helpful because it sort of forced me into greater integrity. And I know for my partner, like I'll tell her, like I'll say, I don't say things that I mean. I may not say anything. And if I'm not sure, I'll say I'm not sure. And if I feel like I don't want to speak the truth, I may not say anything because I'm not feeling ready or not feeling safe. But I don't say things that I don't really mean and feel because it just confuses my body now.
Yeah, how amazing is that? And I would say again, you're downplaying this betrayal thing. I think that's exactly the way you
Mm,
can describe it because it is like if you know your body is saying one thing and you're not aligning with it, that is a self betrayal. We don't
yeah.
need to minimize that. And they do add up, they do stack up, and you wouldn't want to experience betrayal from anyone else. So why would we do it to ourselves? You know why?
Definitely.
Right. So we have good things to tap on here, and I like what we brought to the episode. So we're going to just gently tap. Tapping is acupuncture without the needles. It just helps the body to release it from the energy lines in our body. We're going to just
Mm,
gently tap on the
I'm going
side
to
of the
take my
hand.
jacket off. That's how serious I'm getting.
Yeah, she's warming up. Sometimes when you start
Warming
healing,
up.
you do release heat. Okay. So you can help me get the right wording. We're working together with this. Whatever
Hmm.
feels true for you, stand by what feels true for you and challenge me, change it. We'll work together like we did before.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So just tapping. And even though
Even though
I have navigated some heavy seas for quite a few years now,
I have navigated some heavy seas for quite a few years now,
my heart feels all of a fluster with that because I can feel that energy in your heart space.
I can acknowledge the energy in my heart space.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely,
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
even though
Even though
I have some time and space now to rest.
I've got time and space now to rest.
And I'm finding that difficult sometimes.
Sometimes find that tricky still.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely,
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely. Could feel the accept. I'm trying to really feel those words, and I could feel that the accept almost felt like stumbling
Okay.
on that word.
Nicely
Mhm.
noticed. We can always add in, I'm learning to accept. If it feels
Mhm.
like you can't get behind that right now, we can always
Mm.
soften it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, I wonder where I learned
I wonder where I learned
that it's not safe to rest.
that it's not safe to rest.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely,
And I'm practicing loving, accepting, and forgiving myself,
even though
even though
I find it hard to accept certain parts of my sensitivities.
I find it hard accepting the parts of me that are very sensitive.
Mm. That makes me a bit sad.
I'm just feeling into what feels true. I do, on some level, trust that sensitivity
Mm.
and the wisdom of that.
Okay. What part of it is hard to accept?
I think it feels like weakness or instability if there's emotions that arise and I become tearful that that's like weak or, classic expressions like not having my shit together sort of come to mind. So how that is then judged.
I would say having a good cry is having your shit together, especially
Yeah.
with that much water in your chart. I would expect a daily
Mm.
cry as maintenance.
I literally do say occasionally. I remember recently I was like, I haven't cried in 5 days. I'm like, am I okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
And then you get a
I have
big tidal
basically a
wave.
daily cry. Yeah, a daily cry. Yeah. I also increasingly cry with joy, which is really beautiful. So it's sort of opening in all the directions.
Yeah, because it is whatever we caps the opposite side of it. So if we cap
Mm,
pain, we cap pleasure. So I love that you've noticed that the more you're willing to be with yourself through those difficult moments and to
mm,
let that emotion move through you, the more joy you get to experience on the other side of it. It can be quite euphoric after a good cry, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Or actually, even being, I have noticed, and this is a genuine feeling, not just me trying to frame it in a positive way. There can be an exquisiteness in grief when I've really been in really with it because it's so close to something really profound. It's almost being like pressed up against the glass with God on the other side or something. Like it's just, ooh, there's just so much there when I can be very present to my body and in my experience and not judging it, just allowing it. There can really be this exquisiteness, is the word that comes
Oh my God, I love that. I love the way you describe that. It
up.
can be so intensely painful, but also so intensely exquisite because
Like
it just shows.
how human, right? It's this great human drama, this big human experience, and I feel so much. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah.
you feel so much. And that is a strength, not a weakness.
Thank you.
Let's tap that one in. My
Mhm.
sensitivity is a strength, not a weakness.
My sensitivity is my strength.
Finding that a little bit tricky to say?
I was more trying to make sure I was feeling it as I was saying it and not just parroting. So yeah, no, I feel like that's why I said also my strength, not like a strength. It's like claiming it for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. But also, I would like to say, don't try so hard. However you do
Mm,
it, there is no perfect way to do this. When the
mm,
words are expressed, I find that when they hit emotion, they hit emotion. It's coming
mm,
out of your throat chakra that automatically connects you to your emotional
mm,
world. You can just be in the experience and just let
mhm.
it flow through you rather than trying to get it right. There's a little bit of that. How does that feel?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm open to continuing and just like letting the words flow.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
Okay, we'll come to the top of the head now. My sensitivity is my superpower.
My sensitivity is my superpower.
My tears come to the eyebrow. I'm wondering if you can complete that sentence. My tears are.
Uh, well, the words that came up for me is my tears nourish the earth.
Yes! My God, my tears nourish the earth. How
My
beautiful
tears
is
nourish the
that?
earth.
What a perfect metaphor. Because you know how I said there's two parts to you, there's quite disciplined, hardworking, that's earth. So when it gets too hard and
Mm,
too rigid, you need
mm,
to let out some water to soften it into
mm,
mud, like
yeah.
malleable mud, instead of this like
Mm,
the most perfect metaphor your body could give
that,
us. It's like when things
that
get
is really
too
good.
hard and too forced and too dewy,
Mm,
turn on
I
the
love that.
tap, the tears that nourish the earth.
I really love that. Thank you.
Even that was intuitive because I just felt you needed to complete that sentence. So I just
Mm,
love it.
mm,
It,
yeah.
words. Okay. I'm feeling a bit of anxiety now, a bit of something coming up. Can you feel that?
I wouldn't say anxiety. I think what I feel is like a rising of energy in my chest. I think that that's quite a profound realization because I think now, like I said, if the earth is becoming hard and rigid, then it's the water and tears turning that into mud, and mud is malleable, and you can create much more. Like I'm almost thinking of creating houses or structures, or that there
Yeah.
the creation can happen through the addition of water. So I'm like, oh wow, yeah, to sort of welcome in tears as an essential ingredient if I want to keep creating things and let things be moldable, malleable. Yeah.
Yeah. And fertile.
um,
You pop some seeds in any kind of nice damp mud situation and they are going to grow. I love that your body is so profoundly touched by that.
yeah.
Just that simple insight
Mm,
can totally
mm,
change your perspective on how you view
yeah.
your sensitivity, your water. And it came from you. That's the
Mm,
beautiful part of your
mm,
intuition. So, oh my
yeah.
God, my tears are
Mm.
my superpower.
My tears are my superpower.
They connect me to my deep knowing,
My tears connect me to my deep knowing.
and I can trust that.
I'm open to trusting that.
Where's the resistance to trusting it?
I feel like it's more of an opening rather than a resistance, more that right now it's maybe still a bit small and I'm open to letting it continue to open, let more of the trust in. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to take this slowly,
Yeah. I'm going to take this slowly.
but I'm going to explore and experiment with this new approach.
I'm going to explore and experiment with this new approach. Hashtag daily cry.
Yeah, hashtag daily cry. Yeah. And it might not always need to be a cry. Sometimes it could be some rage that needs to move. Emotions come up in all shapes and forms, as we
Mm,
know. So
mm,
sometimes it would be something, but when you are as emotional as you are, let them run the show a bit. Because for me, I can't function until I've tended to my emotional world now. I'm like, oh, there's
mm,
something really here and it needs something. And it gives me such beautiful insights and magic. And I'm like, thank you. Actually, I needed to know that. But if I didn't have that
mm,
aggravation, I wouldn't have known to check in and to stop and to do a practice that helps me to land in it. So, really,
yeah.
they are beautiful gifts with messages once you allow the emotion to
Mm,
show you the way. I'm excited
totally.
for you. I'm
Yeah.
excited for
Thank
you.
you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, very curious. Yeah. What will, how's it, as it integrates today? What else will come through?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the water could be the safety that you're actually looking for because we always feel safer the more we're connected with our deep truth because then we
Mm,
know we're operating from that place of integrity and authenticity and we're just naturally going to align to the right opportunities, people, places. But it does also mean letting go of your way, I find, because we can have
mm,
our plan, our idea, or the way that we would like things to go. but our intuition, our emotional world may guide us very different way.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's ties into the original, like when I was sharing earlier about where I'm at right now in this kind of space of slowing down and more rest, and have a real sense of now is not the time to start creating new things. And it's just not a good, like, don't basically just like, and if I do and I don't listen to that, which I've done that plenty in the past, it's like, it's not really going to work anyway. So may as well just follow the guidance rather than go against it and then end up in a stickier place. Or yeah, it wasn't worth the energy anyway in the end. But
Yeah.
it's all learning. It's all learning.
Exactly. We need to get it wrong to know how to get it right. We need to have those experiences to realize, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not worth pushing through because it doesn't go how I'd like it to anyway. But
Yeah.
often what I find is whenever there is a pause or a delay, there's so many pauses in my life. I'm like, really? Another pause? How many times can I
Mm,
pause? But actually, every time I do, a day or two passes, or sometimes a week or two, and I'm receiving the right information or a new idea or a different direction or a new connection, which actually is so supportive. And I would have wasted so much time and
yeah.
had to redo things if I'd have just charged ahead when it didn't feel right. So whenever you're trying to charge forward and it feels stressful, it's your body saying, no, not
Yeah.
necessary, not
Yeah.
necessary. And you always know when you need to take action when you're in touch with yourself.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Really trusting that.
Yeah, so I'm celebrating you, and we're doing the side of the rib cage here.
Mm.
I'm really celebrating you hearing and listening the need to pause and wait.
Yeah. I celebrate myself for pausing and letting myself listen,
Yeah, even if it does bring up some stuff for me.
even if it does bring stuff up for me. And actually, there's so much value in that, in
Yeah,
seeing what it brings up.
exactly. Maybe the pause is to look at that stuff so you don't take it forward with you.
Yeah. 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 Maybe the pause is so that I can work through that stuff rather than take it forward with me. That feels like a big yes internally.
Come to the risk. So it's a new identity being born, a new way of doing the things you already love.
Yeah. I'm welcoming in a new identity and to do more of what I love.
You're integrating both parts of you because it's the masculine and the feminine.
Mm.
And that masculine energy is quite dominant, but you have plenty of this beautiful feminine energy that just wants to come in and go, it's all right. Let's do it together. Let's do it together because we're stronger together. We're more fertile.
Mm.
We're more nourishing
Mm.
for everyone involved. All the creations you put out into the world are going to benefit from that energy being
Mm.
fed through those things. So let's just let that
Mm.
land.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling called to pull one of my flow cards for you now. Okay, so this is my flow deck.
Okay.
They are divided into yin and yang. The orange ones are yin, the purple ones are yang. It's be interesting to see what comes out.
Mm.
If a yang one comes out now, I'll be like, what?
We'll trust. We will trust.
We'll
We will
trust.
trust.
We'll just trust. Trust and let go. Let's see. Oh my God. Love it. Love it. Orange, which is the
Mm.
yin. Okay. And it
Hmm.
says, doing nothing is often the best course of action. If that is not a sign, boom, from the universe, I
Yeah.
don't know what is.
Yeah.
That's saying,
That's pretty
yeah,
spot on, isn't it?
don't, and like, let me read it to you. When in
Mm.
doubt, you sod all about it. So you know when you don't know what to do nothing. Says deep breath, let it resolve itself with time. Try pulling your energy away from situations instead of offering them to something that doesn't feel good for you. Allow the
Mm.
situation to change without your input and let it come back to you with a fresh perspective. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Until then, just be with the break. I'd highly recommend doing a simple cord cutting meditation as well. If there is any sort of level of stickiness with a particular situation or person in your life, then do a
Mm.
cord cutting meditation. Have you tried that before?
Mm. I have. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yes, I'm
can,
familiar with
it
that
works
process.
wonders.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need to do them often
Mm.
because we can always
Yes.
get energetically entangled with people. It says, remember, inaction is an action.
That's so interesting. As you were saying that, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was like, basically saying that trust that by not doing anything, let stuff happen in its own way, it basically then come back to me. I think that I can feel it's not very at the surface, but somewhere It's sort of, there's maybe the belief that it's gently touched on around feeling, and I think this is maybe the yang energy, the doing, that I have to be the one to show up, to get myself out there, to make things happen. And interestingly, being seen, right? And the name of the podcast,
Hmm.
Fully Seen. So I think there's something in there around I just won't get seen. So it's, I need to, if I want to make this a success in terms of my business or keep things moving, I have to show up. I have to be out there. Otherwise, what? It will just dry up, shrivel up. And so yeah, that's interesting that in here. Well, my overall feeling though of hearing that card was, okay, thank you, like some relief and reassurance. And then, yeah, I guess I'm just curious, like, okay, that's interesting. The belief that I have to keep showing up. And I do think that there's some energetic hygiene that needs to happen in terms of release, a bit like pruning, right? Cutting things back, trimming stuff down, maybe even pollarding some things, like
Yes,
chopping off
why not?
limbs of things, really, really like dial it back. Yeah.
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 And
So that's
maybe, and
interesting.
sometimes even with clients and like your audience, you need to cut cords because there can
Mm,
be this weird dynamic
mm,
playing out, and it doesn't mean you're letting them go. Sometimes they'll bounce right back, and because you've cleared energetically the
mm.
stickiness. So,
Yes.
and often clients, I usually receive clients when I literally say to my spirit guides, drop me in people's dreams. If they need to work with
Mm,
me, make them aware of me. And it's not through anything I've actually done, you know?
mm. Yeah.
That's just to share because the power
Mm,
is not in the doing, it's the
yeah.
receiving. And the flow philosophy is this infinity symbol, which has like the yang and the yin bit. So you've done the action. Now trust that you
Mm,
can receive.
yeah.
So I would love
Yeah.
to just finish on another round of tapping with this new kind of thing that has come out, which is so linked to that part of you that has that sense of responsibility, like it's all up to me. And it's
Yeah.
again going, oh no, actually, it's not. I'm working with the universe. I'm in collaboration with everyone I've ever met. My business structure holds me when I'm resting. The more I lean back, the more people can come in. This is
Mm,
a new
mm,
approach that you can try on.
yeah. Yeah.
So let's
Totally.
do some tapping
Yeah.
on
I hear
that.
ya. Okay.
Even though
Even though
I'm realizing
I'm realizing
that I have a belief
that I have a belief
that it's all up to me.
that it's all up to me.
If I don't do it, nothing's going to happen.
If I don't do this, nothing's going to happen.
If I don't show up all the time,
If I don't keep showing up all the time,
then it's all going to dry up. Nothing's going to happen.
it's all just going to dry up and shrivel and die. Nothing will happen.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
What if that belief is not true?
What if that belief isn't completely true?
What if I tried a new way?
What if another way is possible?
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and wow, my brain suddenly went blank.
Forgive myself.
Forgive myself completely. I think I got excited at the same time, so my brain was like, just
Your brain's
switching
like, yeah,
focus.
this sounds great. Let's do that.
And let's do the other way. Let's do the other way. What were we saying?
Your brain's like, finally, yes.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like we've been trying to tell you.
Yeah. And this excitement is a good sign. Follow excitement. There's a part of you that
Mhm.
knows that there's truth in this. You know? I'm excited by this idea.
I'm clearly excited by this idea.
Yeah, I feel happier and lighter. And when my energy is in a better place,
I feel happier and lighter, and I know that when my energy is in a better place,
I attract more good things.
I attract more good things.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
Maybe I could start to lean back.
Ooh, maybe I can. Hold on, let me just feel like
Yeah.
maybe it's safe to lean back.
Maybe it's safe to lean back.
Yeah, maybe it's safe to lean back.
Maybe it's safe to be held.
Maybe it's safe to be held.
Maybe it's safe to be supported,
Maybe it's safe to be supported,
even when I'm not doing anything.
even when I'm not doing anything.
The more I relax,
The more I let myself relax,
more-
the more I can let life flow through me.
it's sending a signal to the universe
I'm sending a signal to the universe
that I am learning to trust.
that I'm learning to trust.
I'm learning to let go.
I'm learning to let go and let God.
What if it's not all up to me?
What if it's not all up to me?
What if that was a big fat lie?
What if that was a big fat lie? A misunderstanding. Bless
A
my human brain.
misunderstanding. There's a little bit of a panic thing going on again. Like it's like your body brain, like there's a computing of this new information, which is okay. Cool. Okay. Okay. This is challenging the status quo.
Can
And
I
there's,
share what's coming up?
yeah, please do.
Yeah, yeah. So I can feel there's like a couple of, I think there's a couple of different threads. One is like definitely some deeper trust about feeling held and feeling like safe, so that if I'm not doing stuff or doing things constantly, that it's okay to slow down, it's safe. Can I trust that life will hold me and that I'm held? I can definitely feel there's more work to be done around that. And then the other thread is almost as we're dropping into, yeah, I think for me it's like this co-creating with life. It's almost wow, it's hard for me to put words to it now. It's almost like really like trusting in the divine timing and unfolding of things, and almost a little bit of a, well, you just quit with the fucking questioning things and have a bit,
Mm.
both a bit more trust, but almost maybe a bit more respect and reverence for how stuff unfolds, rather than just being like, I am just satisfied. Is can I instead be grateful? And yeah, so I think that I feel like there's a deeper call there somewhere to maybe invite a bit more. When I say humbleness, that's not to say, it's not coming from like a punishing place or a pushing down, more being like, hey, if the divinity does have the divinity does have my back. So like, what if we practiced more gratitude and more acknowledgement and thanks for what's here, rather than being in an energy of not enoughness or dissatisfaction or questioning, suspicion, mistrust. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's so true. And as humans, we do that. We're human and we have fears and we have needs and we're like, what? When is this going to be taken care of? I'd like it done
Yeah.
yesterday, please. And the universe is
Yeah.
like, no, give it another month, like for fuck's sake. So I want to honor a very human part of you, but
Mm,
also I love that piece
mm,
around I am co-creating. It's not all up to
mm.
me.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's a little bit like, bless my little human self for thinking, oh, it's all up for me or up to me. And then the divinity being, do you really think it's all up to you? Because that's a little bit arrogant. And I say this in a loving way. Like, it's a bit big
Yeah.
of you, isn't it? And you're like, oh, yeah, sorry about that.
It's also scary for the human to feel like it's all up to them. That's too much for a
Yeah,
load of for anyone to carry. I love that this
yeah,
has been brought to light in this
yeah.
conversation because so many people fear this. And it is a life lesson to really lean into the trust, the surrender, the
Mm,
kind of letting go of control. And I love what you said about bringing gratitude, even when it doesn't make
mm,
sense, just
yeah,
knowing that you are held, supported, and you can trust. And even
yeah.
when fears come up, say, oh, okay, I'm feeling scared. What do I need? Show me the
Mm,
way, get me back to a place of faith and trust. So even just having more of that dialogue on a daily basis when the fears
yeah.
will come up, because it is a new way to do things, I think is a beautiful step in the right direction.
Mm,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And
Hands on
you're,
heart, let's breathe that in.
mm, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we have shaken up your system a little bit with these new insights. So again,
Yeah,
often
yeah.
when we take action, really, we want to take action from that intuitive water space. If we don't do enough of that, then we're taking action from fear. We're not taking action from what we're actually being guided to do. So the more you connect in
Mm,
with the water, again, the action that you're taking is going to lead more of the way you're meant to go. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
totally. Yeah, yeah,
So another
definitely.
superpower reason to connect in and have a daily cry.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just it's very funny because with my partner Mel, she is much more. She doesn't cry as much as I do. But what's really sweet and lovely is that she's also like just so not judgmental at all of how much I cry. And she's like, "Oh, you're a crying human, aren't you?" And yeah, and so yeah, we just sort of make light of it in terms of me needing to have a good cry. And sometimes I'll go up to her, I'm like, "Can may I please cry at you?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And she's so patient and loving. And I'll just be like, "Wah, wah, wah,
Oh,
wah." So I'm very fortunate to have a partner who is, yeah, who doesn't judge that. And she often says to me, like, maybe you just need to have a cry. Like, you're obviously, a human that really needs to cry, but it's said with zero judgment or zero edge. It's not like, maybe you need to have a cry. She's just very loving. So I'm very grateful.
I love that for you. And I love that
Mhm.
even though she's not as an emotional person as you are, maybe she is, I don't know. I haven't seen her astrology chart, but for her to have that depth of understanding and support for
Mhm.
you is major. Because sometimes
Yeah.
if you don't get how emotional people can be, you look at them and you're thinking, what's going on? But I love
Mm.
that she holds that space for you so well.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I will actually share one more thing. It was
Yeah.
an example of what happens when I don't express my emotions. A few months back, I was in India and then I was crossing the land border over into Nepal. And we were going to go to a city called Lumbini, which is the birthplace of Buddha. And along this drive and very bumpy roads, and we were having a series of conversations, me and Mel, and we just touched on some like heavy topics. Now, because we were in a car with two other people who we know, I just didn't have the space. Like I didn't have it just wasn't really like a suitable space to have a good cry. And me and Mel have great communication, and nothing was wrong. We weren't having an argument. We were just having a deep chat about something. And I was like, man, I really need to cry, Lord. And I didn't because it didn't feel appropriate, like suitable, safe to really do it there. And then later that day, and certainly the next morning, my lower back and the whole of my pelvis,
Wow.
I was in a lot of physical pain. And so much so that the next day, I went for a bit of a walk and I tried to run just to try. I thought maybe I can try and get the energy movement, and I could barely run. And it kind of freaked me out. And I was like, what the hell? Because I had no obvious like injuries or had no strain, something. I'd just been sat in the car. And it was so obvious to me. I had that all of that energy, and my body's so used to releasing through crying that literally the stuck energy of that, and it was all in my hips and my lower back and my pelvis. And yeah, I was like, whoa. And I ended up having a very big, what I call a heroic cry, and it's proper, just
Oh,
like
yeah.
wail.
Yeah.
And it was after
I know all the
after
cries. I know all the cries.
yeah, but the heroic choir, they're really going for it. So very early on in the morning, so I was in a lot of physical pain and I couldn't sleep. I took myself for a walk, and it was in the temple complex where the ruins of the palace where the Buddha supposedly lived are. And it was very quiet, very peaceful, very safe. And I found this very big tree. I think it's a fire cotton tree, and or silk cotton tree even. And yeah, I just spent some time kind of talking to that tree, because I often do that as a way, if there's no
Mm.
other humans around to speak to, I'll find a tree friend to speak at or connect with. And yeah, I proceeded to have a very big cry, and very quickly, within half an hour, all of that pain went. And it was a really, with the work I do, I'm often supporting clients like with their emotions and breath work and some body work. And so I understand about the impact stuck energy can have on the physical body. It was very profound to feel that real time.
I
So I'm like, I need to cry. I need to cry.
I love that story, and I'd love to add to it as well because
Please. Yeah.
another little growth edge for you whenever you're
Mm.
ready. But I feel within that story, like how a child, when they cry, they need to cry, they do it and they do it well
Hmm.
in the
Yeah.
moment and then it
Yeah.
passes. That is a beautiful, and I love that you shared it here because so many people need to hear that and how important it is to release the emotion. I would say, could you challenge yourself to feel safe to cry wherever you are? Because you crying gives other people permission to embrace how
Mm.
sensitive and emotional they are. Sometimes we need people to lead the way, and you can just say, I know this might be an inappropriate moment right now. I am feeling some emotions and I'm going to just release it. I've had to do that because, again, my emotional world has got so big and so loud, it won't be ignored. Maybe yours is sort of saying, yeah, don't put it off because it leads to this
Mm.
physical pain.
Yeah.
So is a growth edge. And like you say, maybe intuitively in certain situations, you just know that's a big no for you. Or maybe that was a no for you at that time and you might have felt different on a different day. It's just having
Mm.
the courage to not only be fully seen in your own sensitivity, but to be seen by others. That's the next
Yeah.
level I find.
Yeah.
Because I used to just do all my crying alone by myself. and no one ever knew.
Mm,
And I know you're already sharing it with your partner and you probably do with other people, but there's something really
mm.
beautiful about allowing yourself to be witnessed by
Yeah.
other people in that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really open to that. And I a funny example comes to mind of like I was okay, but I came off my bike, bicycle cycling. And then there was a guy, I fell off onto the pavement. And then there was a guy who kind of came to sort of pick me up and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I kind of like roll onto my side and was kind of like doing a bit of a body scan and being like, am I okay? So just the kind of shock of it and then being like, oh, am I okay? So it's like scanning through my body, being like, I think I'm okay. And I kind of sat up and then I could just feel all the adrenaline coming and I thought, oh, I'm going to cry. But I was fully okay with that because I was like, that's the correct response. Let myself
Yeah,
cry it
shock can
out.
come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this guy was like, bless him, he was like, oh my God, don't cry. And I
Oh,
laughed and then I started crying and I said, hey, you're a grown man. You can see a woman cry, can't you? And because it made me laugh because that phrase, oh, don't cry, like
oh,
I grew up a lot with don't cry, don't be angry. And I understand part of that intention is wanting to soothe on some level or to try to sort of like it can have an edge of wanting to offer support. But as we know, it's actually very shutting down. And it's like, whatever's happening right now, if you could just not do that, that would be great. And actually, instead, practicing being like, that's okay. So that's why I laughed because having and I could see like the panic in his face because he's a bit like, shit, this woman, it must be really bad if she's crying. And I was a bit like, I'm fine. I just need to let it out. So I had a bit more of a cry and I could see that he was all like, just didn't know what to do. And I was
yeah.
like, it's okay. You can just be with me. As I also
Oh,
said, you also don't need to stay. I'll be okay. And he did stay for a bit, but I could tell he was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, you
oh.
don't need to do
But how
anything. It's
beautiful that
okay.
you gave him an opportunity to be around a woman that was crying, that was comfortable enough to say, it's okay, I don't need anything from you. I just need you to allow me to release. And my body is doing what it needs to do. And I have some stories that are coming to me, which I'll just quickly share, is that I've been around my niece and nephew a bit recently. And whenever they inevitably fall over and hurt themselves and just start crying in a moment, I'm like, yeah, get it out. This is amazing. I know that was scary. That shocked you. Release,
Mm,
release. And I just think, let them release because there's a lot of distraction that comes in, like, oh, look at this, or have a drink, or do this.
mm,
And then we teach ourselves to not be with our emotional world, but to quickly distract ourselves from it. I
totally.
think it's just, wow, how amazing. You know that you've got this big emotion that needs to come up and out, and it will move very quickly when you allow it to. And
Yeah.
the other thing is,
Yeah.
I cried on a man that felt uncomfortable because I had my car was broken into and I wasn't sure if I was going to have the lock replaced. I took it to the garage and before I went, I said a little prayer. I was like, oh, please let this be easy. Please don't let it cost too much. I was stressed about it because it was,
Mm,
not a nice experience. And so I went right
mm,
to the garage and this man came out, he said, oh, and he sort of jigged around with the lock for a bit. And then he said, let me get the magic spray. So he got the spray and came back and then it worked. And I was just so relieved. Again, you can cry through all sorts of things.
yeah.
I said, oh my God, I feel so grateful and relieved. I said, I could cry. And I was like, oh, I'm going to cry. So I cried and bless him. He just looked at me like, it's all right, love. Like, he's just like this garage man who's probably not used to people crying on him. But I thought, let him realize how grateful
Mm,
I am for his support and how much has touched me. That's a real
yeah.
human moment.
Yeah,
So
totally. Yeah, that's beautiful.
that's
I imagine
exactly.
he probably went home and been like, hey, this like lovely lady came to the garage. She was so happy she cried. I used the magic spray.
Get the magic spray out. Everything's okay. Yeah. So yeah, I celebrate tears for all occasions because it just shows how connected you are to your heart space, how much we care,
Mm,
and how much we can experience as humans. So
yeah.
this has been
Yeah.
such a wonderful conversation, and I just so
Mm,
grateful for you opening up and going into those edges, which are a little bit uncomfortable, but you were open to looking at them. Thank you so much for being a guest on Fully Seen.
yeah. Oh, thank you, Danielle. Thank you. I'm definitely going to listen back to this because there's things that was such a profound piece around the whole the earth and the tears nourishing the earth and turning it more into some, I'm like, oh my God, yes. Or like having seeds and soil. I'm just like, So I'm gonna
Yeah. It'd
yeah,
be beautiful
they'll
for you to witness
yeah.
it and see yourself and how your energy shifts and things like that. It's going to be really lovely for you to have that.
Yeah, it's been so helpful today. I'm so grateful for you. So thank you. And
Yay!
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode of Fully Seen. I really hope it's touched you in some way, and I would love to hear how in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, share it with other people who need to see this. Episodes will be coming out fortnightly on a Wednesday, so take your time to watch it again, repeat the tapping section. And if you would like to go deeper with my work, you can visit flowwithdanny.co.uk, where you can buy my books, oracle decks, online courses, and one-to-one working with me. I am so happy you are here. Stay tuned for more. Thank you. Bye.